You have a new Wall Street Journal poll out this morning, which shows Trump has completely turned the tables on his closest likely Republican primary opponent, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Trump has transformed what they had claimed to be a 14-point deficit against DeSantis in December into a 13-point lead in April. Now, we can question whether that initial poll that showed DeSantis ahead was accurate then, but the movement is clear.
Hey, folks, Dale Jackson here for Yellowhammer Now. We've got to talk about the announcement by Ron DeSantis that he is running for president. Yes, it was glitch-filled. Yes, it didn't go off as smoothly as they wanted it to, but down the line we probably won't remember too much about this. But if it does fail, if his campaign does fail, you'll hear a lot about it because that will be the beginning of the story. Now, we got a long way to go. We have to ask ourselves, who's the best nominee to beat Joe Biden? That's a question that Alabama State Auditor Andrew Sorrell is asking himself, and I asked him what answer he came up with when he was on my radio show on Talk 99.5, News and Views.
I'm worried that if we renominate Donald Trump that he's going to lose to Joe Biden again, to be quite frank with you. I think DeSantis is much more electable in 2024 than Donald Trump is. And perhaps I could be wrong. Maybe Trump beats DeSantis. Maybe he goes on to win, or maybe he doesn't. I mean, we'll find that out as time moves forward. But I think looking at where we are right now, looking at the major victories that DeSantis has had electorally, Trump tweeted out something to the effect, or on Truth Social, he says something to the effect of, Ron is so unelectable. Well, that's a joke. Ron's never lost an election. He won Congress 3 times. He's won governor twice with ever-increasing margins. Ron is the most electable person we have in the Republican field for 2024. And I don't think we ought to sit back and wait till 2028. The Republican nomination does not belong to anyone. You've got to go out. You've got to earn it. DeSantis is going to have to make his case to Alabama voters why he deserves to be the nominee, just like Donald Trump is going to have to do. And I think if Trump, just tries to take Alabama for granted, I think he's going to be disappointed. Alabama is very similar to Florida in that it's a conservative Christian state. It's close to Florida in proximity. And I think that a lot of people in Alabama are very in tune with what DeSantis is doing. And you see this in the legislature, where legislators here are copycatting everything DeSantis is doing. Every time he passes a good bill in Florida, you see members of the Alabama legislature introducing bills to copycat him.
I also asked the state auditor why he went from the guy who led the Alabama delegation at the RNC in 2020 to a guy who endorsed Ron DeSantis before he was even in the race.
There were a couple things that led to my support for Donald Trump, I would say, eroding, and my support for DeSantis increasing. And number one, I think most importantly, is Donald Trump has come out and said some things. He's criticized other Republicans for being too pro-life. That's a big issue for me. I voted for the strictest in the nation abortion ban that we have here in Alabama, and I think Ron DeSantis is thoroughly pro-life, and Trump has made it clear that he's not. He's in favor of weakening some of our abortion laws, and in fact, he claimed that part of the reason we lost races in 2022 was because Republicans were too strong on abortion. I completely disagree. I think Trump actually was dragging down a lot of our nominees. Second, I saw DeSantis win really, really big in November. He won by the largest margin ever in Florida history for a governor, got the most votes ever, and he pulled up all the other Republican candidates. They now have supermajorities in the House and Senate. All of their statewide offices are held by Republicans. DeSantis is a rising tide that's lifting all the other boats, whereas I think Trump is going to be a drag down on our U.S. Senate races, which look very favorable for 2024. I think he's going to be a drag down all the way to the local level, all the way down to the dog catcher type races.
State Auditor Andrew Sorrell, I think, represents a lot of people who are worried about where we are going in the future. And that's why he's made the decision that he made.